Welcome to the Knit Song Podcast. My name is Audrey, and this is my podcast about yarn dyeing, knitting, crocheting, sewing, and maybe some quilting and other crafty things. So welcome back if you are a subscriber and a previous viewer. So glad you're back. And if this is your first time watching the podcast, hello, a warm welcome from me to you. So this is episode 12, and I have lots to show this week. I'm super excited to, just share some cool stuff that I worked on and bought and planning. So it's going to be a good episode. I will let you know my contact information on Instagram. I knit a little song, and on Ravelry, I'm katknitss. And so those are great ways to contact me, as well as leaving comments below in the comments area. So that's kind of my main contact for now. Welcome. So episode 12, here we go. What have I been up to this week? Well, a lot of things. It's been a really good week. I've been able to get a lot of progress made, and just summer teachers on summer vacation know you have like a golden part of summer. Everyone always says, oh, 3 months off, that must be amazing. And really it's more like 6 weeks. So I'm kind of in that 6-week period right now. And sometimes it's more like 4 if your job changes, or if your room changes, or if you have new curriculum to learn. But this is one of those summers where thankfully I'm not changing really anything about my job. So I'm getting that full break. So yay. Anyway, I'm kind of in the sweet spot of that break right now, so I'm getting so much knitting and yarn dyeing and sewing done, and it's so much fun. So it's great for the podcast because I have so much to share. So yeah, I've been up to lots of fun things, and I think I'll just jump right in to some of my work. I think the first thing I'll share today is what I dyed this week. I dyed up 3 new colorways, I guess you could, I think 3. I did 3. And I'll show you all 3 after I take a sip of some green tea. And today, this week, my special teacup is, let me put this in the camera so you can see, actually a really, really special one. This was given to me by my best friend, Shawl. So if you're watching, hello. She went to France when we were in high school, or at the beginning of college. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was high school. But she bought a teacup for me while she was in France, in Limoges, and it is Limoges, China, and I have treasured it ever since. So she has been my best friend since 2nd grade, and love her dearly, and so every time I enjoy this teacup, I enjoy thinking about Shazels. Her name is Shawl, not Shazels, but that's what I call her in my mind. Anyway, so I think I'll start off with what I dyed up. Last episode, on episode 11, I mentioned that I'm a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan. Huge. I really enjoy the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I think they're my favorite. The Guardians movies are just my favorite. They're so funny, and they're so heartfelt, and the music is awesome. So what's not to love? So last week I showed this little mini set that I dyed up for myself that is all different colorways inspired by the different characters. So this is Drax, this is the Infinity Stone, this is Peter Quill's leather jacket, Gamora, Nebula. Oh, it's folded. This is the Yondu Nebula Kree colorway for their skin tone. But and actually my favorite 2 characters are missing from this, and that would be Rocket and Groot. And I dyed up a colorway for both of them. They're kind of best friends, and they kind of go everywhere together, and they're also similar colors. So I thought it would be smart to dye up a colorway that had the colors of both of them, and so I think I like what I came up with so far. Here is what I got. Now, surprisingly, it's actually kind of close to, we'll find out how close it is to this when I hold it up. But the Malabrigo 064 Cheese Puss that I've been knitting with, that I'll show a little bit later, right here. Okay, so mine's a lot more brown and red, but kind of similar as far as the, some of the colors. Maybe not. Anyway. In my mind, it seems similar. Mine's a lot more reddish brown, but I dyed up some browns and reds because Rocket has more like the grayish browns, and Groot has a lot of different browns as he's a tree. So yeah, this is my Rocket and Groot colorway so far. I think I'm going to add it to my Yarnians of the Galaxy bag here and have a set. I think what I'm going to do with this set is I thought it would be fun to like knit myself a like Guardians of the Galaxy like shawl or like a sweater of Minnie's. I don't know, like something striped with all of them would be awesome. Yeah, so that would look really interesting. I'm not sure what all these would look like together, but it's gonna be fun. So that was the first thing that I dyed up. And the second and third were by far my favorites of what I made this week. And I'm gonna show you the first one of those two. And this one, I just love this one so much. I'm so excited about this one. But all the stuff that I'm showing that I dyed up is on a 75-25 merino nylon fingering blend. And it's actually the Knit Picks Felici, I think is how you say it, yarn that's bare. And I love it. It's so plump and squishy and just great. So the next colorway, I haven't named it yet. I've recorded it in my yarn journal so that I know exactly how to replicate it. But I just haven't named it yet. But here it is. Yay! I love it. It's kind of basically the inspiration. I've always, as I shared last week, loved, you know, ships and the ocean, and I talked about my Titanic cup and all that. But I've always loved mermaids because when I was a little girl, I was maybe 6 when the Disney Little Mermaid came out, and I saw it like 6 times in the theater, and I sang the songs so much that my grandpa, who was one of the coolest people ever, questioned my sanity briefly because I was just this 6-year-old girl walking around all the time going, ah, and he was like, what in the world? Yeah, but since then, I've always loved mermaids and anything that has to do with underwater colors and all of that. So here is what my inspiration was. I kind of wanted to use all the different colors that you would see like reflecting on the sand if you were in like shallow tropical water. So I tried to use different blues and greens and purples as I deemed worthy. So yeah, it also kind of looks like sea glass. So I don't know what to call it, but it's definitely mermaid inspired. And I'm so excited about this one. So number 1, or number 2 actually, if you count Rocket and Groot. And then, put this here. There you go. My next dye project was kind of just an experiment. I wanted to just experiment with color and different layering techniques, and I really like what I got. Also on the same base, but here is this one, and I really enjoy this one. There's a lot of different shades of reds, blues, and purples. It's basically the gist, and I love how it's skeined up. I did reskein both of these just because they were both kind of experiments in blending color, and I wanted to see how they laid out together, or all together once you reskein them. So I really love the way it came out. I'm super excited to knit with these. They're both the same base. I don't know how I feel about them together. Sometimes I'm like, I love it. Other times I'm like, no, they're beautiful. They're more beautiful when they're separate. But I think I'm really interested in knitting one of the So Faded shawls. by, I think it's Andrea Mowry. I have to do my research. Sorry, I'm not sure. But if you watch Legacy Fiber Arts with Sue and Chelsea, I think Sue has been knitting a couple, and they're so pretty. They're kind of like this Find Your Fade shawl in the sense that it's like a faded, variegated type of pattern, but it's like a sweater. And I was thinking something like this might be really fun, but I don't know. I kind of like them apart. I don't know if I should use them together or apart. I think I'm going to go with them probably apart, but we'll see. I don't really know. Anyway, that's what I dyed up this week, and I really like it. So more yarn for the yarn board. Yay! Yes, so let me think with a sip of tea what I have to share next. Let me consult my notes. Oh no, I don't need to. I remembered. The next segment of stuff I'm going to share is sewing related. So excited to share my sewing this week. I don't even know where to start, honestly. I'm on a major sewing kick. I just love it so much. And I will show you, I think, the first thing that I sewed this week. And it's a new project bag for myself. And here it is. It is gray with a pink bottom and a little handle strap, because I haven't put any straps yet or handles on my bags as I've made them. The zipper is a cream colored zipper, which kind of goes with the white polka dots, and I guess it goes pretty well. But it actually was one of my grandma's zippers that was still in her desk when we moved it here. So one of grandma's zippers and some new fabric that I got. These are just fat quarter squares that I got. I think I was just at Walmart, and I just went to their sewing department and picked up a couple of fat quarters and chopped this up and did it. The patterns that I use for the project bags that I've made so far are, I kind of have blended two videos that I've seen. One, they're both awesome. One is the zipper clutch bag by Gretchen Hirsch, who is awesome. And I'll mention her stuff actually later in the podcast because I bought some of her things. And it's a zipper clutch tutorial. I think it's on the Good Housekeeping YouTube channel. And it's like a 40-minute video where she makes a project bag, or like a little zippered clutch bag that you could use for anything, like a makeup bag, purse. And she walks you through the whole thing. And her descriptions are awesome. She makes it so not intimidating. She's just a really beautiful person, you know, fun to watch. She's great. I'm just a huge fan. So I would recommend that if you haven't made a project bag yet and you would like to try. She makes it so easy. The other tutorial that was awesome is also another person I love to watch, which is Nicole from Loco. She does a tutorial on, I think it's called a Christmas bag, how to make a holiday clutch or a holiday bag, and she does like 2 tones. And if you go to her website, I think you can actually get the pattern, the printout pattern, for free, I think. So I'll try and put a link to those videos in the description box because those ladies are awesome. If you haven't watched those tutorials and would like to make bags, excuse me, hiccups, I highly recommend them. They're awesome. I said that like a New Yorker. Awesome. Yeah, so that was the first of my sewing this week. And I've been putting my Malabrigo Reyna shawl in this project bag for the week and have enjoyed that a ton. But that wasn't enough to satisfy my sewing appetite. I mentioned that I got more fat quarters last week, and I wanted to just practice sewing basic squares and quilting. So here's what I have so far. So not too bad for my first group of blocks. You can see some of the seams don't line up and match up, but I've done a pretty good job of keeping them as straight as I could, pressing my seams as I go, and yeah, making progress. So yeah, I would recommend, my aunt recommended an awesome channel to me. Another thing, if you're interested in any type of sewing, but especially quilting, is I think it's called the Shabby Fabrics channel, and Jenny is the name of the girl who does all the tutorials, and she is awesome. Super good explanations, visually shows you everything step by step, and so I've been watching her and enjoying just her help as I sew. And even if I know what I'm sewing, I like to sew with sewing tutorials on in the background. Even if they're not tutorials on exactly what I'm doing, it just helps give me confidence because I'm hearing someone else's sewing machine. I don't know. As a new sewer, it just boosts my confidence. So yeah, this is kind of what I've got so far. I don't know what the end goal for this is. I think I have a few more strips of this, and it's going to be, I don't know, only about 3 feet wide probably when it's finished, and maybe 4 feet. So it's just kind of a square. I think I will practice doing a binding. I'm going to do like two borders around it and then a binding. So we'll see how big it gets by the end, but I think it's just like a practice right now. So a little bit of beginning quilting. Yay! So that's that. But yet that also was not enough to satisfy my sewing appetite because I wanted more. So I've been really enjoying, like I mentioned, Gretchen Hirsch. I have been adoring this book, which is Gertie's new book for better sewing, and in it she has all kinds of cool tips and techniques. Ooh, sorry. Great drawings, super helpful explanations, but what's really cool is she has patterns in this book as well, and it's just a great book. She's a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure you've heard of her, and if you haven't, definitely check her out. She's just great. But really, she has all these different types of basic patterns for vintage clothes in this, and I am really interested in being able to sew more garments, and I want to start moving more in that direction. I bought some fabrics that I love this week, and now I think I need to take a step back, maybe buy some muslin and start practicing the patterns that I want to use those for. I'm super tempted to just jump right in and cut them out and make something with them, but I think I'm going to hold off, practice a little bit first, sew up a couple of mock-ups, and make sure that I really know, A, that I can do it, B, that I like the pattern, because I don't want to waste or use the fabric on a pattern that's not how I want to use it, because I like the pattern, the fabric so much. I just want to marry the right pattern to the right fabric. And yeah, so A, that I can do it, B, that it's the right fit, and C, just to practice fitting, because yeah, I mentioned last week, alterations and being able to really create a good fit is something that I'm not good at yet and I'm not experienced with. So I'm going to practice, and I'm excited. But I highly recommend this book if you're into sewing. It's awesome, super helpful. On that same note, here are, so her patterns in the book are some of the ones that I want to sew. Some other patterns that I want to sew that I bought this week were this pattern. It's Butterick B6207. It's fast and easy. When I read that, I'm like, for most people. For me, it still takes a while, but that's okay. I'm new. But it's this great like t-shirt and skirt pattern, but really I'm interested in making these, and I'm interested in making tops that would like be hip length or so that are like that. Yeah, the instructions look really good, and I'm super excited to kind of just grow my pattern arsenal and hopefully get closer to being able to make, you know, a wardrobe for myself that's exactly what I want. So that's one pattern I bought. The other pattern that I bought the history lover in me had to buy this. It was on sale, and I read about it in Gertie's book, the book I just showed. She talks about this super popular pattern that like sold out in the 50s and was so popular and everyone loved it, and it's like super easy, and I was like, okay, sold. I want to try it. If all those women in the 50s were trying it and it sold like crazy, I want to experience that and try it. And so it is this pattern right here, and it is super exciting. It's from 1952, as it says, and they've republished it. But it's these two pieces. Here are the line art on the back, and basically there's the front and there's the back, and the back, your head goes through the hole, and then the front closes in the back like an apron, and then the back comes around and closes in the front. So it's a wrap dress, but it's only 3 pieces to cut out, and so I thought that sounds like a lot of fun. So we'll see what I end up making with this and when that happens. Like I said, I'm super anxious to do it, but I definitely don't have enough fabric in any of my fabrics for this. You need 5 yards. Yeah, 5 yards for this dress, and I only have 3.5 is the most I have of any one fabric right now. So I'm still in the market for some fabric for this, but I'm super excited because it's so cute. And of course it would need some either a horsehair braid at the bottom or a crinoline underneath to make it that full. It would fall a lot closer to the body without that. So I think I'm going to make one and then see how full I want it to be. Yeah, so exciting, new patterns, woohoo! Yet that wasn't enough. I still wanted to get some more sewing stuff. So here we go. I'm super excited. I went to Joann's Fabrics and they have awesome coupons, and I got this set for 50% off. It's a fabric cutting set as I want to do more quilting, and I needed a cutting mat. I really wanted to try a rotary cutter because it looks so easy and I want to quilt more, so I thought I should have one. And a gridded clear ruler. So helpful for measuring any type of project. And they had all 3 in one, like, you know, a pack. And I was like, oh, I'm going to buy the, you know, because you save when you buy them all together. And then I saved again because I had 50% off. So yay, happy day. So this was another purchase that I made this week. So slowly growing my supplies and all that stuff. Now, the thing that I am the most excited about, I'm even going to give this a drum roll, was the fabric I got. I'm so excited. This is definitely a week inspired by Gretchen Hirsch because her fabric is adorable. She has a line of fabric available, and, sorry, just settling everything. It's really, 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 really great stuff. It's just beautiful. I don't know. It's just, when I picture fabric that I'd want to sew with, her stuff is exactly what I would, like, want. I mean, I just really like her style. So the first thing I got, I apologize because it's gotten a little wrinkled in my, the way I folded it up. But I love this one. This is like my favorite. I'll show this side. I think it's a rayon. I was so excited I didn't even read the label. But it's beautiful. Here it is. It's like a royal blue with little pink strawberries and roses. And it's just gorgeous. It drapes beautifully. It's just my dream fabric. And I'm so excited. I think I bought 3.5. This is the one that I bought 3.5 yards of. That was all they had left on the bolt. And so I bought it all. And I'm really excited to, I think, for sure, make a blouse out of it. I have enough to make a dress in a couple of different patterns that I've seen that only need 3.5 yards, but I know I want it to be something I wear on the top because I love the delicacy of the little details, and on a skirt it's further away from eye level, so it might get lost. So I definitely at least have to have a top in this. So I've been shopping and looking around for what exact pattern I want to use. Yeah, I just love this so much. So stinking much. So excited. Yeah. And so I'm at least going to make a top out of it. Maybe two. And if I can find the right dress pattern, I'll go with that. Because I would love a dress of it. Top or dress. Not sure which one. But this I adore. Love it so much. And the next, oops, avalanche. Pardon the noise. I'm just dropping things everywhere. The next fabric I bought was also a Gretchen Hirsch fabric, and it's I think her fabric line is called Gertie, which she also goes by, I guess. But yes, I think it's a cotton sateen, and I'm still so new at learning like what fabric is what. And like I said, so excited. I didn't fully read the label. I can double check online and put the correct information in the description box below. But oh, I love it. It's my first bordered fabric. I have never used a bordered fabric before, and let me show you. The base color is this turquoise and white polka dot, and along the border there are these gorgeous pink roses and peonies and beautiful things. And so if you look on Gretchen Hirsch's Instagram, she has done gorgeous things with these fabrics that she has, and it's so much fun to look at. I know I'm going to make a skirt out of this. I think in her book she talks about a basic dirndl, I think is how you say it, skirt, and I'm thinking of doing that with this because it's something for beginners. I'm a beginner, and with a border I think it would work. So that's what I'm leaning towards. But I just love it so much. And then it also, on the other selvage edge, has this, oopsies. So on one side you have the thick border, on the other side you have this thin border. So you could use that as a detail on sleeves or a bodice, and I'm just like, the world is my oyster with this fabric. I love it so much. Yes, this is cotton. Sorry, I'm trying to find that information. But I'm pretty sure it's a cotton sateen. Oh, it's great. It feels great, and it looks beautiful, and I just can't wait to make something with this. So I think it's going to be a slightly gathered skirt. Hopefully in a couple weeks. I'm super excited. Sorry, the lighting today is crazy. Utah has really moody weather. They say if you don't like the weather in Utah, just wait 5 minutes. It'll change. And it's kind of true. Even in the summer we get these thunderstorms, and I guess it's just being so close to the mountains that the weather is just constantly changing. So the lighting keeps changing in here as I'm next to the window. So my apologies. But here is this gorgeous fabric. So I'm so excited. I just can't wait to sew all of it, but yet I want to be smart. I don't want to just rage and rush ahead and cut this fabric and make the first pattern that I think of, because I want to make sure it's the right fabric for it's the right pattern for this beautiful fabric, and that I also can do it. So I want to practice. I think I'm going to try and just go with what I said. Do a couple muslins, do some practice, and make sure that I'm up to the challenge before committing to the cutting of the fabric. So yes, that is my sewing segment. I had a lot of sewing stuff to buy this week, and yeah, so I'm so excited. So excited. So excited. Also, I should show this. If you've been to a Joann's Fabrics recently, you've probably seen these tote bags that they sell at the cash register, and I just had to buy this one. So stinking cute. So many things to do. And it's this cute little lady, and it's pink and mint, which I just love that fabric. I mean those colors together. And it's fun. There's like a little ruler on the top. So another little fun purchase. I went a little crazy this week with my purchasing, but it was it was time to invest in some good equipment, and the rotary cutter, the mat, the fabric, it was all definitely happy purchases. So super excited about that. I'm going to now take a sip of my now almost cold green tea because I've been chatting rapid fire. But I will move on to what I did knit this weekend. So I mentioned my Malabrigo Reyna shawl, and I made a little bit of progress with this one. Last week I was only at the lace section, and now I've done the next garter section. Ready to hop into the next lace section now. So it's a triangular shawl. I realized via a comment in our in the Knit Song podcast Ravelry group, I think her name was Sally, mentioned that the pattern actually calls for, oh sorry, I'm so excited. I just saw the mailman deliver some packages, and one of them is yarn that I'll show you next week. So anyway, super excited. I'm gonna go get that. Actually, we're gonna have to edit this video. Oh, be right back. Oh, he left it. Okay. Most awkward moment. I think I'll edit this out. But anyhow, yeah. Reyna shawl. It's actually in the pattern. It's 3.5 needles that's recommended, and 3.5 to 4, and it's on a fingering weight. And so I forgot that I actually changed this pattern because I'm using 5s and worsted. 5mm needles and worsted, and so I totally goofed with that. So thank you, Sally, for reminding me that. But you can do it either way. It's still a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's a great one. So that was a little bit of progress made. Second was in my French Country Blue project bag is the green shawl from my own yarn that I've been working on, and I made some progress on this thing. I'm super excited. It looks good. I added a new section. So last week I was here. This week I've started a lace mesh setting, and now I'm going to go back and do another one of these stripes with some stockinette. And so it's getting to the point where I can't really pull it out because it's definitely going to come off the needles. But it's coming out well, and I really enjoy this yarn so much, and I'm just having a great time with this one. So it's going to be something to wear soon. Yay! So I'm a fan of this one for sure. Yeah, this is on 3.5mm fingering weight, and I'm gonna try, like I said, I'm gonna try this starting this week to actually write the pattern down, and see what pattern writing is like, if I'm good at it or if not. So yeah, but that's all I knit this week. Crochet wise, I'm going to add a stripe to my granny stripe blanket. I saved myself a mini of the purple yarn that I dyed. It is in fingering weight, so it's the same weight as my blanket. So hopefully I'll have some crocheting to show next week. I was thinking about taking some minis. I'll just leave that there. I dropped it. From some things that I've dyed, and adding like a stripe for all the different things that I've dyed, just as kind of a memento of my yarn dyeing journey. I thought that would be cool to have my crochet granny stripe blanket be kind of a like, I don't know how to say it, a visual 3D journal of my yarn dyeing journey. Like, it's kind of like a scrapbook. So I think I might try and do that this week. So hopefully I'll have some crocheting to show next week. I did have some other news and things to mention, and completely in all my sewing goodness and all my new fabrics and things have completely misplaced my notes. So I'm going to go from the top of my head. But into news and other things, I so enjoyed getting to know Christy of the Girls in the Yarn Cafe knit podcast. Girls in the Yarn Cafe, I think, is the name of the podcast. But we were talking on Instagram, and she so kindly mentioned me and this podcast in their podcast, in their episode 19, their 19th cup episode. And I was just having so much fun watching them as I was doing the dishes. And it's a mother-daughter. If you haven't seen them yet, check them out. They're awesome. Girls in the Yarn Cafe. I'll put it in the description box below. But I was just standing there doing dishes, and I had their podcast on, and I'm washing dishes, and I'm looking over, to watch all their beautiful hand-dyed yarn. They both have yarn dyeing shops, and they have beautiful styles, both of them, and then they knit gorgeous things, so it's just tons of fun to watch. And so I'm just, washing dishes and doing things, and then I heard them talking about podcast, and they talked about the knitted towel, which I have yet to check out, but they recommended it, and so I'm going to totally check it out today. But then they mentioned me, and I was like, what? This is so weird. But thank you so much, and I am so enjoying your podcast, and so that was just kind of a fun surprise. So thanks so much for the mention. Definitely, if you haven't checked them out, they're awesome. I just enjoy both of them so much. They have such fun personalities, and I love watching the conversation between the two of them and both of their perspectives on all the yarn and projects they do. Yeah, just great gals. Check them out. So that was a fun podcast moment. Another thing that I was watching that I really, really enjoyed was, oh my goodness, wishing I had my notes and didn't lose them right now. Oh yes, I've been watching early episodes of A Homespun House of Molly's podcast, and I started watching her podcast. She's well within to I was in the higher number episodes when I even found her. So I went back and have been watching some of the early ones, and I'm just so enjoying all of her work. Her aesthetic is really beautiful, and that's just been a ton of fun. So those were the two main podcasts that I watched this week. In other favorites and things that I've been up to this week, I thought I'd share a couple things. My favorite show lately that I've been knitting to and just enjoying so much is AMC's Turn. If you're at all into history or just good drama or amazing writing, it is so worth checking out. Seasons 1 through 3 are on Netflix. It's about spies during the Revolutionary War. It's so well written. It's crazy good. It takes a little patience. You got to get through 2-3 episodes in season 1 before you're fully in. But oh my goodness, once you're there, you're there. It's so great. So great. Check it out. Season 4 just started. But like I said, seasons 1 through 3 are on Netflix. It's a little bit gory. I don't like gore and blood, and so I'm looking down a lot, but that's good for knitting anyway. But yeah, my husband and I enjoy the show so much. So that's been what's been on. It was the Girls in the Yarn Cafe, Molly of A Homespun House, and lots of rewatching Turn to get ready for season 4. Music-wise, I've been listening to a lot of Paramore. Hayley Williams is the singer for the band, and she's just great. I've been so enjoying her voice. She's awesome. So that's kind of what I've been into and absorbing and watching and all that stuff as I knit and sew and just have fun with all this good stuff. I'm super grateful just to be, like I said, at that good point of summer. We all have seasons where we have a lot of time to give to the things that we want, and those are few and far between, and most of the time it's just barely enough time to get any progress done. On Instagram, the SSK podcasters have. I mentioned them 2 episodes ago. SSK Yarners, that's it. On their Instagram page, they posted like a picture that said, born to knit, forced to work. And I liked it and said, I love that statement, because that's how life feels sometimes. There's the stuff you have to do, and then there's all the stuff that you want to do. And so it's been so fun for me, and I'm super grateful just to have a season where I'm able to get more of that stuff done that I want to do, that I enjoy. So yeah. Last piece of business is last week I started an Ask Me Anything thread, and got a couple different comments, and I did get one question. Most of the comments that we got last week were so fun, just comments and just meeting new people. And so thank you so much for your comments. Like I said, my favorite part of this podcast is the community and talking to you. So please join the Ravelry group, introduce yourself, comment below. Really, I love for it to be a two-way conversation. It's so much fun to meet you. So I had a lot of fun responding to comments this week. In general, yeah, some really helpful hints. If you read episode 11, the comments about continental knitting, I think it was Sharon who mentioned about, you know, different drag and speed on needles. So they're really helpful comments dealing with hands and stamina to keep knitting. But then I did get a question in the thread, and it was from Victoria. Victoria, thank you so much for your joining the group and your comment. She mentioned how I talked about my interest in Titanic and ships and all that stuff last week, and she asked if I've ever been to the Titanic Museum in Belfast, Ireland, and I have not, but I so want to go. Ever since I was a little girl, I've been obsessed with like the British Isles. And so I've always wanted to go to Ireland. I would love to go to Scotland, love to go to England. And so that's definitely on my list of top things I would do. If I get to go to Ireland, that's probably number one, or like, that's definitely number one on my Ireland list. So yes, hopefully within the next few years I'll get over there, and my husband and I, both of us, would love to do a Europe trip someday, and I think that would be at the top of our list, would be to see the Titanic Museum. That would be so cool. So yes, I'm on my way. I have not been there, but I want to. She also mentioned a yarn shop to check out that's like amazing, and so that is super helpful. So thank you, Victoria. When I get to Ireland, I'll know exactly where to go and what to do. So thank you. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I have this week. I'm gonna end this week's episode before my camera runs out of space. Sorry about that last week. Yeah, so this week, comments, I would say, just any comments that you would like to share about maybe your favorite shows to watch while knitting. Yeah, continue. If you have a question for Ask Me Anything thread, ask a question below, or join the Ravelry group and ask a question. I'd be happy to answer any of them. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a super creative and awesome week. Enjoy summer. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome week. See you next time. Bye.